and all right, everybody. Well, unfortunately, we're doing things a little bit different today. Normally, I like to go live, but I think there was just too many people on the internet out in the real world, so we didn't get to go live to do the show. So I will go ahead and give you the abbreviated version of kind of what I wanted to talk about today. So that if you did look at the live show, you saw that it was got a little choppy and everything. But I want to make sure that I'm able to share this information and the why and all that. So if you saw the first one, I'm gonna give you the condensed version and the straight to the point version as well, starting in 1 minute. Now, welcome everybody to the multi-dimensional world of Dr. G. This time we're not going to be doing it live. We're going to be doing it or was it post-recorded? Not sure what the correct term is, but it's a recorded copy. So you're watching me record this live, not live. You're watching me record it live, no edits, no nothing, and then I'm going to post it within 5 minutes after it. So it is still 1/31, 2025, and we're gonna cut straight to the chase, talking about my personal top TV shows of all time. Now, let me start with a disclaimer. These are my top TV shows of all time, and why they're a little bit different. You're going to look at some of those and you're like, I'm not feeling that. But that's okay. They're mine, and I'm going to tell you why for each one. So let's go ahead and get started. Hitting in at number 5. Well, we're moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment in the sky. That's right, George and Wheezy, the Jeffersons, back from the late 70s. It was actually a spin-off of the Archie Bunker show, which was All in the Family. All the well thing. Guys like us, we had it made. Yes, those were the days. So it was a spinoff of that show. It was a really, really funny show. And the one thing, I'm going to tell you why it is hitting my number 5 and at number 5. A lot of good memories watching that show. But it really taught me that back then, rich people, they could be cool. I loved that. Rich people could be cool because I used to always think stereotypically rich people were kind of, pretentious, and I hated that, man. So when I watched these guys, George, Jefferson, Wheezy, they were so down to earth, and I loved it. So that's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, the essence of 70s. I loved that beat, that 70s sound in the beginning of the intro. Come on, knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. Yes, I loved it. And not to be dirty or pervy or anything like this, but if you remember that, the stereotypical porno beat from the 70s. It's hilarious, true hilarity. So when I hear that sound, the very beginning of the show, if you don't go to YouTube, if you don't know it, total 70s, love it. Three's Company, and a shout out to Jack Tripper, who was really funny. But I'm gonna tell you what, one of my number top 5 shows, and celebrating why, if you know who this guy is, yes, for those that don't know, take a quick second. Boom, 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 boom. All right, it is Larry Dallas, everybody's favorite used car salesman. He was the ultimate wingman. Now, for those that watched shows like in the 2000s, I also loved How I Met Your Mother. Barney, for those people, he was the wingman in that show. This guy was the wingman of the 70s, but he had the slime factor, which I loved. Worked at a used car sales place, always hanging out at the Regal Beagle, always telling about Greedy Gretchen's going to be out in town. I mean, it was just total 70s, late, early, mid 80s or so. Great show. That comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3. All right. So for those that don't speak Spanish or watch the Galavisión, Univision, Telemundo, and this was the essence of Spanish television in the mid to late 90s, probably like 95, 96, because that's when I remember watching the show. It was called Dos Mujeres Un Camino. And if you listen to Spanish music like myself, Bronco had the theme song and sorted, what was her name? No, was it Bibi Gaitan? Bibi Gaitan. Oh, I was in love with Bibi Gaitan back then, all right? Bibi Gaitan is probably, where is Bibi Gaitan at? I think right there. You can't see my finger going in there, but it's the one, the one by the purple truck. But one thing I remember about this show was this was like one of the very few, maybe the only shows I watched in Spanish with my parents, because it was the ultimate soap opera that came on in the evening. It was literally about the great Eric Estrada from Chips fame. If you remember Eric Estrada, he was Frank Poncharillo. He was the ultimate G back in the 70s. Remember the down, down, da, da, Yes, he was that guy. Always walking around with no shirt on, with the hey, the smiley face and everything. Total G, right? So after that, his career didn't really take off like he wanted it to, but they offered him a show called Dos Mujeres Un Camino, where the premise of the show was he was in love with his wife and he was in love with a younger woman, both incredibly beautiful, and he was trying to figure out which one to be with. Yes, that is like, believe it or not, that is a premise, but it was great. Good TV for back when it was. And I think for me, it comes in at number three because, again, holds a special place in my heart because I used to watch this. I remember laying on the floor like this, watching it with my parents. One of the few shows I actually did that. Coming in at number two. Oh, what would you do if I sang out of tune? Yes, it was The Wonder Years. Now, I loved that show more than anything, and I'm going to tell you why. If you heard, again, a lot of this stuff, if you watched the live, I kind of talked a little bit about this, but this show was the essence of my childhood right there because everything that Kevin Arnold, the whole topic of the show is it's basically a 12-year-old kid in 1968 going through puberty with a mean brother in love with the girl next door but doesn't know how to say it, doesn't know how to talk about it, all of that. So it follows him all the way from 7th grade to his senior year in high school till he graduates. And that's the whole show. So for those, it lasted, I think it was like 6 seasons. Man, that show hit everything. Talk about his, like, his first breakup, his first fight, drama, talking on the phone. I know she said like middle school drama, high school drama, personal drama. It was just such a good show, especially for its time. And if you watch it today, it still holds weight. And the reason that hits my number two is because I used to be a middle school teacher. And one of the things that I remember, I would show kids, like I'd find specific episodes and I would show them. One of my favorite was they had Kevin Arnold's dad would go to work every day. He would always come home bitter, angry, and mean, and nobody understood why. Till Kevin Arnold went to work with him one day, and he got to see what his dad did all day, and he really got to see what it was like and understood why he came home so angry. And a lot of us, man, growing up, we don't know what our parents go through. They're doing all this stuff, and you just may not have any idea. Some do, but a lot of us don't. And I was under that category. It was just me, me, me. That was my mentality. So when I watched that show, that had so many different things that really helped me resonate, growing up. And what I love about it, whether it's 1968, 78, 88, 2008, 2018, or today, 25, those same problems that they had back then, they still have them today. The hair is different, the style's different, but the issues are still the same. So that's why it cracks at number two. And now, horrible drum roll or horn roll, whatever you want to call it, coming in at number one, my personal favorite, Sanford and Son. So if you watch the beginning of all of my shows, like most of the time I always hum that show, the beginning of it. Funky. I loved it. Back from the mid to early 70s, that show came out. I would say like the mid 70s. I loved it, man. That was the show. It was literally about a son and dad that ran a junkyard. And all of the characters that came around, some were stereotypically bad, but it was just, they're just trying to make it, man. And that's what I loved about that show. It was funny, hilarity, just always into something, always trying to find ways to get rich, always trying to find ways to kind of make it. They talked about their dating life, that of a senior citizen and a 40-year-old man. I mean, it's such a good show. It was funny, lighthearted, sense of humor, and you would fall on your back laughing. And he would always have this, when he couldn't take the news, he'd always have this fake heart attack. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. Oh, homie. He would always have his fake heart attack, talking about going back, dying and going to heaven to join his late wife. Not funny, but funny if you watch it. So this is my number one show, Fred G. Sanford. And the G stands for good times. All right. So that kind of wraps it up. Those are my top 5 greatest TV shows of all time for me. Now, everybody out there, again, I had this show running on a live, but it did not work out. It kind of froze up a little bit. So a lot of the essence of what I wanted to talk about in the live format, and I had some interaction, which thank you very much. This was going to be posted literally in about 5 minutes. Not going to get as much interaction, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you got on the comments. I'm sure some of you disagree. Some of you can't even say, Dos Mujeres Un Camino. Yes, great show. It's in Spanish, but check it out. But a lot of these shows you can find on Tubi, YouTube, wherever. Just definitely look at them if you're not familiar with them. If you are, kind of share with me your fondest memories of those shows. That being said, until the next time, hopefully we'll go live. We won't have any snack foos. Have yourself an amazing rest of the week and weekend, I guess would be the best way to say it. Look forward to the next time. Peace out. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.